Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to discuss a few um, different problems about solving equations, solving inequalities, solving system of equations. And the first one here, we have to solve this equation, and we have a few answers that we can choose. We have infinitely many, we have one, two, and none. By the way, when we are talking about solving something, we want to find the value of that variable that makes the equation, the inequality, or the system true. So that's what we mean when we're solving. Quadratics is a different, it's a different thing. Actually, solving means find the x-intercepts for quadratics. But in this case, we have linear equations. So let's try to find what the value of x is. And just by looking at the problem, I can kind of see what it is because I know some definitions that can help me solve that problem. So if I distribute that 5, that will give me 5x minus 5 plus 2 equals 2. 2x plus 3x is 5x minus 3. So after I do that, I combine like terms again. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. So 5x minus 3 is equal to 5x minus 3. This is a very interesting case because we have the exact same thing on both sides. Well, whenever we have the exact same thing on both sides, that means that I'm going to have, if I was to draw a coordinate plane, and my line looks like this, and I graph this line, and then the other line will be the exact same one. So it's like I have one line on top of the other. Because this is true, that means that for every time that the lines intersect, that means that I have a solution. So because this is true, that means that, well, ask yourself, how many times will these two lines intersect? And the answer is infinitely many. Infinitely many times. So if you get a case like this, that means that you have infinite solutions. If you get something that looks like this after you graph them, parallel lines, well, parallel lines will never intersect. So if you have the same slope but different y-intercepts, that means that you have no solution. And the last case that we can have, let me see if I can, okay, here. The last case that we can have is, well, they can intersect infinite times, they can never intersect, or they can only intersect once. So if they intercept once, that means they have one solution, and then we need to figure out what the value of x is in this particular case. That's it for this problem. I'm going to jump into another one. Let's see if I can find it very fast. Okay, it's right here. This is a very interesting problem. Again, we have some inequalities. Actually, not some, but we have an inequality, and we need to find which value makes this inequality true. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. And the cool thing about this problem, and I think it's in an AP style, it's an AP style type of questions, is that we have like, not only do we have multiple options, but we have to check which of these options is true, and then we need to figure out at the end which of all of these answers are true. So I'm gonna do it the long way first, and then I'm gonna do it the easiest way. So the long way is to actually solve for x. So I'm going to rewrite this here. 3 times x plus 1 minus 5 is greater than or equal to 6x plus 17. So first I'm going to distribute. Let me use a different pen. That leaves me with 3x plus 3 minus 5 is less than or equal to 6x plus 17. So the next thing that I can do is combine like terms. So 3x positive 3 minus 5 is negative 2. It's greater than or equal to 6x plus 17. I'm going to move this negative 2 to the other side. The way that I do that is by adding 2 plus 2. So I'm left with 3x is greater than or equal to 6x plus 19. Remember that I cannot combine 2 with 6 because 2 doesn't have an x, 6 has an x. And now I'm going to subtract 6x. 3x minus 6x is negative 3x is greater than or equal to 19. And lastly, in order to get rid of that negative 3, I'm going to divide by negative 3. Because negative 3 is multiplying x. The opposite of multiplication is division. Negative 3 times x, well, the opposite of multiplying by 3 again is divided by negative 3. So x is, now the other thing that I will do is, I'm going to flip the sign, and this is true every time that, for every time that we multiply or divide by a negative number. So I flip the sign, and I'm finished with 19 over negative 3. Now this says x must be less than or equal to negative 19 over 3. So ask yourself, is negative 19 over negative 3, I'm sorry, negative 19 over 3 going to be part of your solution set? If you answer yes to this question, then you're correct. So I'm going to mark number 3 as one of my possible answers. And if I'm looking for anything that is less than negative 19 over 3, which I'm going to put here on the calculator, just give me a second. Let's see. So if I do negative 19 divided by 3, that gives me negative 6.333. So I'm looking for anything that is less than negative 6.333. And let's see, is negative 6 less than negative 6.333? Actually, it's not. This is actually greater, so this is not going to work. 19 over 3 is positive, so it's definitely greater. The only option that we have is negative 19. And if you're confused about that, you're like, how is negative 19 less than negative 6.333? Well, you can just put it here on the calculator. Is it less than or equal to negative 6.333? In case you don't know your number line. Well, it is true, so therefore 1 is also correct. So my answer will be letter B. That's the correct one. Okay, that's it for this problem. I think this was pretty well explained. I don't think I have to do it the other way. I'm just going to explain it very quickly. If you want to check which of these answers is true, just substitute these values for x. Now, every time that you have an x, make sure that you use a parenthesis and make sure that you do that correctly. The other thing that I will say is to be careful with that, because since you're plugging in a lot of numbers, it's very easy to mess up. Okay, last question that I will cover here. I'm going to cover this one. It says, this is a system of linear equations, which they're pretty cool, I think. Now, we have 3 different ways of doing this. We have elimination, substitution, and by graphing. And in this particular one, I'm going to do it by graphing. So this is what you do. You go to your calculator. Let me get one. This is actually in Spanish. Let me get one that is English. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. So your calculator, if your calculator is on testing mode, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, you see, if it's blinking like that, just make sure that your boxes are not checked. None of the boxes can be checked in order for this to work. Okay, so just let me press OK. Oops, I didn't know I could do that. Okay. Okay. There you go. So you're going to go to, you can either go here to the graph or this one. I personally just like to go to that one. No particular reason. Now, because these are not solved for y, what you want to do is you want to plug in a relation. So you go to menu, you hit menu, you go all the way to graph entry, and you want to plug in a relation. Okay, now let's plug in the first one. We have 10x minus y equals 53. So I'm going to hit enter. That gives me my first graph. And excuse me. Now in order to graph the second one, that was a bell, I'm going to do y equals. Now because I have a division here, I'm going to write it just like that. I'm going to hit control division to create a fraction. So I do negative 13x plus 92 divided by 2. Make sure that it's written exactly, or it's typed out exactly the way that is on your paper. So hit enter. And well, what is it that we're looking for, right? It might be like, why did we graph it? Well, we graphed it because we want to find the point where these two lines intersect. So I'm going to look for the point where both of them intersect, and this point will be the solution to the system. That means that when I plug in x and y for both of them, my equations should be true. So because I'm looking for the intersection, I'm going to hit menu, analyze graph, and I want to find the intersection. So I'm going to scroll this way, just slide it a little bit. I'm going to click once, and I'm going to slide it again to the right. After I see the word intersection, I'm going to click again, and it's going to give me the exact point where they intersect. It's 6, 7. 6, 7. I look for that here, and I got it. That is a correct answer for this. If you want to check whether you did it correct or not, just plug in 6 and 7. For x and y, just type it the way that it is. So 10, this is the way that you will type it. 10 times 6 minus 7 is that equal to 53. You type that on the calculator. If you get true, that's good. But remember that you have to do it for both. So on the other one, you will have to type, well, 7 is equal to negative 13 times 6 plus 92 divided by 2. If you get true for both, then that means that this is a correct solution. I'm pretty sure that I did it right. So I just taught you 2 ways that you can do this. Substituting each of the values or just graphing it. Right, perfect. That's it for me. These are 3 different problems that you can work on. And well, if you have any questions, please comment below and subscribe to the channel if you have been enjoying these videos. It doesn't hurt you and it does not hurt me. Bye bye.